So your
So you want a quick intro?
yeah, quick intro.
Okay, well, I am Dylan Sage. I am a professional rugby player, currently playing in France for Union Sportif Montauban, which is a Pro D2 club here in France. Played for the Springbok Sevens for about 5 years, played for the Bulls for a couple of years, was an ex-UCT player, went to UCT for a brief period, Weinberg Boys, junior school and high school.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Studied at UNISA, graduated in 2015. Yeah, rugby. I've done the Olympics, I've done the Commonwealth Games, I've done the Sevens World Cup.
Yeah.
And that about wraps it up.
Your Weinberg days, starting from the beginning, how was that? So junior school at Weinberg, obviously rugby from the start.
Yeah, I was a rugby and cricketer actually. I
Okay.
played a bit more cricket at school than rugby. I must actually admit I preferred cricket to rugby, but
Yeah.
just seemed to go in a different way after school. But no, junior school was your standard grade 1, 2, and 3. It's your your barefoot rugby,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then going into 4, 5, 6, and 7. We actually had quite a good side in junior school. We're quite a little powerhouse. And then I had a big family, so I've been playing rugby since I was young.
Yeah, yeah. So going to high school, so were you through primary school A team all the way, or were you? Can you hear me right? I don't know if it's frozen or not. Can you hear me right?
Yeah, you go off it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was me or if it was you. But
I think I'm fine. Yeah.
No, it's definitely
I'm
me.
fine this time.
So going through to high school, so were you A team through the years?
No, I played under 14A,
Yeah.
under 15B, under 16A and B, and then I went to the seconds. Played seconds in my grade 11 year, and then I played first in matric.
And your first team experience in matric, how was that?
It was up and down. We had an okay team. We weren't great.
Yeah.
Beat Sachs twice, which is always good. As long as you beat Sachs, you're good. We lost to Bishops quite handedly both times. They had quite a good year. We were up and down, man. I think we've nothing special. It was just a standard year. No big results. But you beat Sachs twice, you can call it a success.
Yeah. So finishing off at Weinberg, what were you looking at doing leaving school? Obviously UCT.
Yeah, so I went, actually, I didn't go straight to UCT. I went to varsity college to start because I wanted to study finance and I couldn't get into UCT for anything in finance. So I went to varsity college, studied commerce there, and that was obviously through UNISA. And then I went to UCT for a year to do PPE. Did that for a year, and then I went back to UNISA because I'd signed then with the Springbok Sevens, and I couldn't do the UCT thing and Sevens, so I did it. I was already in my second year at UNISA, so I thought, let me go back. I'll finish that off while I'm doing the Sevens thing and giving it a crack. Yeah. And then the rugby career never really ended from there. It just kept on going. So I kept on studying. Yeah, like I said, I graduated in 2015.
Yeah.
And it was I wanted to go. I could have maybe perhaps gone back to see if I hadn't get the rugby career going. But luckily it ended up quite well. So it ended up finishing my studies at UNISA, and then once I graduated, then obviously I just ticked that box, and then I focused on the rugby again.
So how was that for you, the studying and then the sevens at the same time?
Yeah, it is tough. I think obviously UNISA makes it easier for you because you don't have to be in classes all the time. I think it would have been more difficult. I don't think it would be. I know some guys that have studied while they were playing. It's obviously more difficult, and you have to have a good relationship with all your teachers and your heads of departments and stuff. It is something you should probably do. I don't like guys who don't study while they're playing rugby, because probably the older you get, the harder it just gets, and you start getting lazy. You get into a bit of a routine, so. It's nice to study. It keeps your mind out of rugby as well. Sometimes you need a break. So it's good to, especially when you're young, you got the energy, study something, and once it's out the way, it's out the way, and you can focus on what else you want to do. But it's nice to have something just to do in the meantime. So I like the studying while you're playing. I think it's easy. I think UNISA makes it easy because you can obviously, and there are a lot of other online courses you can do while you're playing. But obviously, if you can go to UCT or go to UWs or Stellenbosch, that's great as well.
So, did you play any games, Varsity Cup or anything?
Yeah, I played 2 years of Varsity Cup, 2012, no, like 2012 and 2014, I think. 2014 was my year I played most of my Varsity Cup. I came back from Australia because I had signed with the Force for a year in their practice squad. And I come back to finish studying, and I played a year at Varsity Cup, and then from there I went to the sevens. But a good year of Varsity Cup. That was 2014.
Okay, so were you guys quite successful?
Yeah, we lost in the semis to Shimlers. I think Shimlers went on to actually win the thing. It was a close semi. I think we lost by about 2 or 3 points, if I can remember correctly. But it was a good game. We had a very strong side. We were quite unlucky not to be in the final that year.
Yeah. And you talking about the Force, how was that experience for you going over to Australia? And
it was a good experience in terms of getting used to a professional setup, because I come from club rugby, which is obviously amateur, and then going to a full-on super rugby professional setup. You learn a lot of things you wouldn't learn playing club rugby. So I think it made the adjustment going back to club rugby and then to the sevens a lot easier than jumping straight from UCT to the sevens. And I think I learned a lot in that year by playing at a higher level, which helped me when I came back to play Varsity Cup.
Yeah. And how long were you there for? Just
I was only there for a year. I think I was there for 9 or 10 months. Yeah. So I could have stayed another year, but I just wanted to come back and study. I didn't feel like I was really in a spot where I wanted to stay another year. I feel I had the inkling to come back and finish studying, which I'm glad I did in the end. It all worked out pretty well.
So what year was that when you went to Force?
That was 2013.
Okay, 2013.
2013? I think it was 2013, yeah. And then I spent a year there, came back, played Varsity Cup. It may have even been 2012, one of the two. 2012 was a couple, 8 years ago now. So it's been a minute, 8 to 9 years ago. But yeah, it was still good to go and learn a few things,
So then, obviously coming back, finishing all studies, and then when you were playing sevens at the time, were you in like a type of academy setup, or were you just thrown straight in?
I only spent 6 months in the academy. Played, remember now, in June, July, I went to the sevens, did a little camp there, like a trial camp. They said, okay, we want to keep you around. They signed me to an academy contract. Spent 6 months in the academy, and then I played my first World Series tournament in Cape Town in December.
Okay.
Then I went straight to Sydney and Wellington, and then from there I was pretty much in the main squad. And I think I signed my professional contract the end of that year for the sevens. It was a 3-year deal or 2-year deal. I signed the sevens. No, 2 years, and then obviously from there, 2 years, and I signed again, and then obviously I left 2018.
Okay. So how was that? That must be an awesome experience for you in your first year, obviously traveling all over, going to all the different destinations on the circuit and everything.
Yeah, it's sick, man. It's obviously this.
Yeah.
That's nothing about the sevens. You get to travel. You know, so it's
Yeah, of
nice to do while you're young and go and see a few things. I was lucky. I went to the Olympics that year as well. It was great, you know, going to all the different countries and stuff and
Yeah.
being able to play there. It's a good experience and it's nice to do while you're young and you know, don't have too many commitments back home.
Yeah. And that first year when you were with the sevens, how did you guys do?
We came second, and we came second. I think Fiji won. Yeah,
Okay.
we got the silver, obviously the bronze in the Olympics. We
Yes.
weren't bad. We had a good side. We started off very well. Slow. We just couldn't win tournaments. We you know, a lot of seconds and thirds. Just couldn't get that the last hump, you know. But the year after, then we went back to back. So the year after we won. The year after that we won again. So we were all kind of building up to that 2017 year.
And that transition that you had from 15s to 7s, obviously you were with the academy and everything, so must have been a lot easier. But how was that for you, going from like normal?
It was
take
tough.
time to?
I've always played sevens, but obviously playing sevens at that level is a lot different.
Yeah.
It didn't take me that long. I don't think I had, I feel like I fitted in quite well. I did what I had to do, and I learned quite a lot. I was lucky. We did, you know, pre-season was with the entire squad, so you learn from guys who have been there for a long time. So, kind of use the 6 months to learn as much as possible. Obviously, to get fit. So I was lucky in the way that I didn't have a lot of commitments in terms of off the field stuff. You know, I was studying, which was fine, but I could really put my whole, you know, mindset into just trying to make it. So I spent 6 months just killing myself trying to get it, and luckily that didn't take too much longer than 6 months, you know.
And the preseason and the training for sevens, obviously a lot higher than.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The preseason and just training in general for sevens is tough, and the older you get, the more you realize how tough it is. You know, when you're young, it's, you know, you can push yourself through it, but it's a different level of training. You know, it's tough, especially when you start picking up a couple of injuries here and there. It starts getting really tough, but it's a grind, man. So sevens is no joke. So
when you guys were training preseason, where were you? I think, I don't know if it's in Stellenbosch now. Or...
Yeah, we still at SAS, Stellenbosch Academy of Sports.
Yeah.
Still there, yeah.
So that's where you would train your whole preseason.
That's where we're based there, yeah. That's where we're based. I stayed there for a while before I bought my own place.
Okay.
I stayed there for about almost a year. I think I stayed there at the academy, and then from there, once I signed my new contract, then I decided to get a house in Somerset West.
Yeah. And the whole circuit, how long does that go for over the year?
That starts in December, ends in June.
Okay. So then when you end in June, do you get time off, or are you thrown straight back into?
Well, it depends if there's any other tournaments, you know, obviously barring the Olympic Games and Commonwealth Games and the World Cup, you will have time off. So I think it's about, June, you know, finish in June, you'll get July off. And then you'll sort of start coming in mid-August kind of vibe. So you get a good month and a half off. You know, not a hell of a lot of time, but it's enough time. And
the whole mental side for you, like the constant traveling and the constant back-to-back games over the weekend and that, how was that all for you?
It's something you got to get used to. The traveling can get tough. I think it's like I said, it's easier when you're younger.
Yeah.
Once you start having a family, once you're married and stuff, it gets a bit difficult. But also, you know, your partners understand what the life is like, and that's reality we live in. It's like I said, it is easier when you're younger. When you get older, it does start getting a bit tougher, especially if you're having kids and you're building a bit of a family, and you know, wife's working or whatever.
Yeah.
But it can be challenging, but you get used to it. It's something you can't just get used to straight away. It's something that you need to go through the ups and downs. You know, you're gonna have bad games, you're gonna have good games, and you're gonna realize what your sweet spot is. You know, what you need to do after a game, what you need to do before a game. And I think it just comes with experience. I don't think you can just go in there and I can't give you a blueprint of what you have to do. You know, I think you have to learn yourself what gets you there. Obviously, there's tips and tricks, but I think it's it's a big thing about getting there. You need to fail a couple times and then realize this actually works for me. Have a couple of good games, have a bad game, and then come to the conclusion, this is what I need to do before a game, after a game, during the week, after the games. And I think that's the experience is a big part of it.
And obviously, I'm pretty sure it's a question you must get asked a lot, but 2016 Olympics, that whole experience for you must have been awesome as well.
Obviously, incredible stuff. Rio was really cool, man. I was lucky enough to do it in my first year. To be a part of that was very special. Obviously, I was still young for the series that time. I only played about 8 or 9 World Series games before I went to the Olympics. But luckily, we had a very experienced squad, so that made it a lot easier. I spent the whole year on the circuit, which was good, so it built me in nicely. It was incredible stuff. I was still relatively inexperienced, so to have done it again would have been even better. But Rio was incredible. I was very, very lucky to be a part of it.
And the Olympics, you didn't compete in the Olympics a few months ago.
No, I was back here in France.
So that whole Olympic, what were your guys' ambitions going into it? Obviously, to get the winner.
Yeah, it would have been obviously to get the gold. That was the point. That was the reason why we were going. Just came up a bit short against Great Britain in a semi-final. I think we had a good chance to win that. We had 2 chances to score 2 tries if you let slip, and then obviously they beat us 7-0 at the end of the game. So we took a few lessons from it. I think we were maybe a bit too hasty in that game with a couple calls we made. But it's unfortunately that's the way you learn.
Yeah, of course. And then so you finish off Olympics, which was 2016, and then 2017 sevens season.
Then we came out the blocks pretty hot. We won, I think, the first 3 tournaments, or 3 out of the 4. We won 3 out of the 4. I think we won Dubai, lost in Cape Town, 1 in Wellington, 1 in Sydney.
Okay.
So we were in a really good spot. We had a very strong squad, though. We had the best squad on the series by quite a distance that year. And then we were quite comfortable. Once we had done that, then I think we lost in Hong Kong in the final. We won in Vegas. We came second in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Where else were we? Yeah, then we came second in London. I think we won in Paris. So we had a pretty good year that year.
Yeah. And for you, favorite destinations from the circuit?
I only went to Hong Kong once, but Hong Kong was a special one because it's like sort of the birthplace of the Sevens, World Series. So I really enjoyed Hong Kong, the vibe. Obviously, Cape Town's crazy. I was lucky to play Cape Town 3 times. That was incredible. Cape Town's wild. But I must say, I've been pretty lucky. All the spots we went to were pretty good. Obviously, going to Paris is amazing. London, I really like. Be able to play at Twickenham is incredible. Living in Sydney for the sevens is nice. I wasn't a huge fan of Wellington, of NZ. That was okay. Probably the least favorite of the list. But even somewhere like Vancouver was awesome. Beautiful city, nice stadium.
Yeah.
So I was quite lucky. We didn't have any dud games. Even Singapore, not my favorite, but still, still an amazing city. Still a nice place to play.
And the adapting, so wherever you guys go, is the food different, or are you on the same type of?
Yeah, we're quite lucky. They try and keep it similar. They try and keep it, obviously, the World Series is HSBC are in charge of that. They do the whole coordinating and all that. So the food, they try and keep it similar. They obviously will change it varying on what the culture and what country we're in. They try and keep it as normal as possible.
Yeah. And then your sleeping and your living arrangements, are you like on top of other teams, or you guys all split up?
Yeah, we're all in one hotel, so it's a lot of teams. But you learn to live with it. You're in a hotel, it's okay, it's not too bad. It's usually nice hotels. You're staying in some of the best hotels. You've got good food. So you learn to do your own thing. You don't really vibe that too much with the other teams. You're thereabouts, but you're kind of on your own mission because you got to play on the weekend.
Yeah. And then so 2017 season we've covered, and then 2018 were you still playing sevens into 2018?
Split the sevens.
Yeah.
Split the sevens. We won that year as well. We actually won right at the end in the last tournament in Paris. We had to win that tournament. We won that tournament, and we ended up going back to back on the World Series title.
Okay.
That was my last year at the sevens before I left the Bulls.
Yes.
So we won that year, and then a bunch of us sort of we left after that because we wanted to go and explore Super Rugby and try and play a bit of 15-man rugby.
Yeah, and then the transition back to 15s for you.
That was tough, but luckily I had a bit of time. I did a whole preseason there, and I, clicked after a couple of weeks, went back into it. Luckily, it helps being fit, and you don't struggle with getting fit again. You're reading the game fast because the game is quick. So those things are some of the hardest things to do. So as long as you have that, you're kind of okay. And I think I slotted in pretty well.
So when you left sevens, did you think it was just the right time for you to go try something different, or?
Yeah, it was the right time for me. I think I needed to go and see what else there was for me to try and extend the career a bit and see what else was out there. I was 27 at that time, so I just thought that was the right time to go. I had good success with the sevens, and I loved the sevens, and I wanted to go back for the Olympics and give that a crack.
Yes.
But I wanted to go and play Super Rugby and see what was going to happen, because obviously I wanted to make the move overseas eventually.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to go see what the 15-man game had for me, and I feel like it was a good choice.
And your choice for going to the Bulls?
Well, they wanted me, so
okay,
that was the easy choice. Yeah, they wanted me to go, and I said 100%. I'm on board with that.
Yeah. So then 2018, you played a bit of 15s with the Bulls. Successful or up and down, or?
It was pretty good. We were 2018, 2019. So it was in 2019 season.
Yeah.
Played a bit of Super Rugby, a bit of Currie Cup. I think we made the semi-finals in the Super Rugby, if I'm not mistaken. We lost the Hurricanes there in New Zealand.
Yeah.
We had quite a good side though. Currie Cup wasn't that great. I think we came 5th or 6th or something, so it wasn't, but it was still nice to play. And then that was my first year. Second year, first game of the year. Or then I played the first Currie Cup, Super Rugby. I've done another Currie Cup, so 2 Currie Cups. But then in Super Rugby the next year I got injured, and I was out the whole year. So that was my last year at the Bulls when I got injured. And then I decided obviously to go overseas because I had quite a bad injury.
Mm-hmm. And your injury, that type of setback, have you had anything like that before in your career, or?
No, that was quite a bad one. So I dislocated my ankle, and that was the first game of the year for us. And I had just come back from the sevens. Actually, I played in Dubai and Cape Town. So because I was prepping for the Olympics that year, so we went to Dubai, won in Dubai, lost in the final in Cape Town. Feeling very good actually at the time.
Yeah.
And then first game got injured, and then I was out the whole year. I had to have surgery, had multiple surgeries on the ankle, and I was out for about a year.
Yeah.
I was out for about no, I lied to you. I think about 10 months. 10 months I was back playing.
And that whole rehab process for the injury must have been tough, but slowly.
Yeah, that was a proper long ride, I must say. I hope to never do it again.
Yeah.
That was long. It took a lot out of me to do that for so long, and it was during COVID time as well. So we had a lot of So it was back when you couldn't do much. So availability of resources and stuff was scarce. So also didn't add to the whole process either. But luckily I was able to get to France in July of that year, so it kind of made it a bit easier.
Okay. Yeah. So you were obviously in South Africa for your injury and then the start of COVID, and then your move overseas to France. You said it was a decision that you were always looking at.
Yeah, that was always going to be the decision. A little bit earlier than what I thought I would do, but because I got injured, I thought let me go and restart here and jump-start it again. So I left in July of last year.
Okay.
And I've been here for a month and a year and a bit, year and a couple months.
And where are you in France?
Playing. I'm in the south of France. I'm just outside Toulouse. I'm about 45 minutes outside Toulouse. It's a little town called Montauban. And I play for obviously the town team USM.
Yeah. And the style and difference in rugby in France, is it a big difference or is it similar in a way?
They do like to play, yeah. It's a bit different now, conditions are a bit different.
Yeah.
The winters are slightly harsher here, so it's different style of rugby, different cultures. So you do play a different kind of game, and your process and your preparation is a bit different. But it's been good so far. It's a tough league, 42's a good league, and some good players. Yeah, some very good teams here at the moment. So yeah, it's a grind, but it's good, man. I'm enjoying it. It's very different to being back home, but you learn to adjust.
And the whole experience with the French team. Are there other South Africans with you? I know Luke Stringer, obviously.
Luke's here with me. I've got Luke here. I've got another Namibian guy, Tiwi, just arrived this year. He just signed a contract here. So he spent some time in France and in England. So it's nice to have him here as well. We've got 3 academy boys who are from South Africa, just come out of high school. So it's a nice little group, but obviously, there's a couple New Zealand boys, Australian, some Samoan guys, Fijian guys. So kind of get along well with all the foreigners.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So the whole experience with USM at the moment. So did you guys just start your season recently for this year, or?
Yeah, we're 5 games in now.
5 games in.
Yeah. We're 5 games in, so it's a 30 games in a year.
Yeah.
So we've just finished our first block, so we'll go into our second block week after next.
Yeah. And then your ambitions for the future going forward?
I think it'll be to play in France as long as I can. So I think it'll be try and stay here, try and play as much as I can here.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how long I can play for, Hopefully I can play another 6 or 7 years, hopefully, barring injury. And then from there, we'll see. We'll see if we're going to go back to South Africa, or we'll be back, stay here in France, or, end up somewhere else. It's tough to decide now, rugby, you work in 2 or 3 year span. So a lot can change in 2 or 3 years once your contract's up.
Almost like not thinking too far forward, because a lot of unexpected could happen in there.
Well, yeah, you could end up in a whole different country in 2 years. So, it's obviously where they want you, it's where your best contract is and what the best situation for you is. So ideally you want to stay somewhere close and that's working for you, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you need to go to another country, another city. You just got to see how it comes. And we don't have the 5-year, 6-year contracts here. It's 2 years mostly, So after 2 years, you could be jumping ship and going somewhere else.
Yeah. And your team ambitions this year, you guys as a team, what are you wanting?
So we've got quite a strong squad this year. So we're looking to be in the top 6. So there's 16 teams in the Pro D2. So we're looking to be in the top 6. We're currently 4th now. So we've had a good start to the year. And hopefully we can try and stick within that top 6. I think top 6 is a realistic position for us to be in.
Yeah. And then for you, 15s or 7s?
It's different, man. I think I like 7s. I really enjoy 7s. I just think it's in terms of it's a very different game in the way that you prepare and the way that the work you have to put in off the field is different.
Yes.
Obviously, 7s is a more simple game just in terms of the whole system. It's a bit more basic in terms of you don't have as many moves, you don't have as many different systems you have to put in place. It's more of a simplistic game, which is nice because it does let you express more of yourself on the field, and you can have more excitement and more thrills because it is just an easier game. It's a lot faster. things happening, you're scoring tries. So the value aspect of that is great, and it's very entertaining, and I love that about it. It lets you explore yourself as a rugby player as well, because you have to learn so many more skills you probably wouldn't learn at 15s. And then obviously 15s is different, where you have to learn more of the scheme. You're learning more patterns. You know, you've got a lot of different options. So that also, from a mental standpoint, a rugby analyzing standpoint, is nice, because it really does test you on how you're going to beat teams, and how your system works, and being able to control guys in the system. That's something that I quite enjoy. They're different. I can't really give myself a favorite, because I like different aspects of both, and I like being able to play good rugby at 15, and I like the way the sevens can be exciting, and it can change, you know, on a dime. But I do like the whole systematic scheme of 15s rugby and how you have to beat teams.
Yeah. And then your current positions? I think I lost you there quick. I think I lost you there quick.
No worries. Yeah, again.
So yeah, my last one. So your current positions right now?
Current position now, I've actually been playing 3 different positions.
Yeah.
I've been playing 12, 13 and wing. Kind of been juggling around with all 3 of them. I would prefer to stay at 13. 13 is the position I want to play at. I don't mind playing at 12 as well. That would be my second. And then obviously wing. Wing, I don't mind playing. I'm not, I'd rather play in the centers, but I don't mind playing on the wing. But if I could choose, I'd probably play 13 or 12.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me. I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. Yeah, it was awesome.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
And I'll let you know when I get it uploaded on YouTube and everything.
Beautiful. All right, man. Thanks very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.